Yoga. So a couple minutes before we get started. Getting a little message, my connection's unstable, so we'll make sure that's corrected before we start. Close this door. As you're getting set up this evening, you don't need any special props except for a blanket would be really useful. Blanket. And that's it. So get your mat, some comfortable clothes, get ready to join us. We'll start in just a couple of minutes. Tonight's practice is going to be gentle somatic yoga. We've done a couple more challenging practices the past couple of weeks. Practice at the end of your day as well as you want to unwind and prepare for sleep. It's also a great way to wake your body up in the morning. So not super, super energizing, but we're going to move through all the movements of the spine. And if down dog's not your thing, if you have wrist issues or can't do it at the floor, you could do it at the wall when we get to that. So we're not there yet. We're going to start on the floor in just about another minute. So channel, there's plenty to choose from there. I'm going to use that guy tonight. So grab your blanket. We're actually going to start on our backs. And one reason I love to do this practice in the morning is a bed and just be really stiff and I might not even feel like doing, yoga or anything else, right? You don't even want to get out of bed. And I'm going to do this on the floor. It's the same way I started my day this morning. And it's going to involve a lot of really gentle somatic movement. We can do all the movements of the spine. We're going to really open up our trunk. So sometimes, we get stiff, blood flowing through the body and make you feel good and ready to start your day. And by the same token, as we're doing this in the evening, if you're stiff from sitting in a desk all day or what have you, maybe driving, whatever you do, this is a good way to let go of all of that and just get our backs. You can have the blanket under your head now. You don't necessarily need it. I'm actually going to move it out and use it a little bit later. But it's good to have that nearby. And just take a minute. Here's where we're going to center ourselves and settle in. So knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Take a minute to check in, feel your feet on the earth, your hips, and your shoulders. You could rest your hands on your belly or at the tops of your thighs, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Follow the breath. Deep breath in all the way down to your belly. And exhale and soften the belly. Just take a moment to notice how you feel. Take another deep breath. Feel the belly. Start to feel with your back on the floor. The movement of the spine as you breathe. And exhale, and the lower back kind of softens back down into your mat or into the floor. One more time, take that nice deep breath. And exhale. Allow the spine to soften back down to the floor. And then we'll just take the heels of the hands to the tops of the thighs, right where the thighs meet your hips, and press into the. So we're adding a little bit of movement now. Inhaling and pressing into the thighs, just allowing that lower back to arch a little bit more. Going at your own pace. Breathing in and pressing into the thighs. Exhaling and letting go. And those of you who have practiced with me before, this is probably familiar for you. We've done this in several of the lower back classes I've taught, a little pelvic rocking. Just go ahead and stretch the legs out. Feel how that nice big stretch feels. Maybe reach through one side and then the other. And then if you feel okay in this position, you can leave your legs extended. If this is too much on your lower back, you can bend the knees again, but I'm going to leave mine extended. Take the arms out to the side. The elbows are bent and the elbows are in line with your shoulders. And we're just going to turn the palms outward so that your pinkies are facing the shoulder blades, the backs of your shoulders pressing down into the floor as you do that. And exhale back up. Inhale the pinkies to the floor and exhale back up. Keep those shoulders pressing down and just tune into what you're feeling. Open. Maybe those pinkies touch, maybe they don't. And one more time, breathe in, take those pinkies back towards the floor. Rest there this time. Start to bring your hands together over your head and keep pressing down. Start to take your hands up. So your elbows are going to come off the floor. A little bit side to side here if you want. And exhale, come back to center. Release the arms down to your sides. Cross your right leg over your left. Actually, you're going to walk the feet over, then cross your right leg. Be a little bit easier that way. Interlace your hands behind your head, and we're going to start to take your left elbow towards your feet. Obviously, it's not going to touch your feet. If you can do that, send me a photo. But notice the stretch now on your right side body. Take a big breath. It's like a little crescent here. Some people call this banana pose. Breathe. And exhale. So just not trying to breathe any certain way, just taking a nice big breath, feeling that side stretch and exhaling it out. Let's take one more breath here. And gently come back to center, uncross the legs, and we'll walk them over to the right a little bit. As far as it feels comfortable, you don't want to feel any discomfort in the hips. Cross the left crescent or banana pose. Breathe into your left side body and exhale and soften. So notice that stretch. Be really present with what you feel in these gentler stretches. And I can feel this all the way to the top of my hip bone here. One more breath. Exhale. Gently recenter your head, uncross the feet, come back to the center. And one more thing here with the hands cradling the head. Let's lift the head off the floor just slightly. So be real mindful of the neck. And you're just going to use your hands. So your head is totally relaxed in your hands. Kind of like if you've ever had a massage and the massage therapist lifts your head up and just kind of really gently moves it side to side. There's no efforting, no strain in the neck. Kind of take those hands, fully supporting the back of the head, gently loosening up the muscles in the neck. And then when you're ready, you can place your head back down. So from here, we'll go ahead and step the feet in. We're going to cross the right leg over the left. If you want a little bit more and you're able to, you can walk the hands down to lower on the shins or the ankles. Some people can even grab the feet, but don't worry if you can't. You just stay with the hugging the tops of the shins or knees in. And then even actively trying to imagine that the feet are going in opposite directions here. If you want to go a little deeper. Notice what you feel in your right hip. And breathe. Over to the right. See how far they go. You're going to start to feel this stretch in the left hip here. And then bring it back up. So we're just gently everything's going to be gentle tonight. We're just going to start taking those knees over and bring them back up. Place your hands behind your head again. So just like we did with that banana pose, we're going to start to take the right elbow over towards those knees. Feel the stretch in your left. Oh, that feels so good. It's another thing I like about this gentle somatic practice is just lessening that stretch. And come back to center. And I was going to have you move a couple times. So let's go ahead and actually take that elbow down and come back to center. Slide. So you're keeping your head in your hands and your hands on the floor. You're not picking it up. You're sliding on the floor, and it's helpful to have that sticky mat there. One more time, and this time we'll hold. Breathe into the side body and exhale and soften. See, it felt so good that I didn't even want to move before. I just wanted to hold that stretch. And both are good. So the movement or just holding the stretch. Go ahead, come back to center. Bring the legs back up to center. Uncross. We're going to switch. Cross the left over the right. So letting go of those hands behind the head first. Draw the chest first. And again, it might even feel good to rock a little side to side here. But feel that compression in the belly. Real good for digestion. If you want to grab a little lower and start to like draw more of the ankles and the feet in, maybe even grab the feet and imagine that you're pulling them apart. I hesitate to say that. You're not really pulling. I want you to pull too hard, but deepening that stretch, and notice what you feel in the left hip. And breathe, please. And my hope is that you just feel really good after this practice. Bring those feet back down, keeping the legs crossed. So this time we're gonna, you can go ahead and interlace the hands behind your head. We're gonna take and drop the knees over towards the left and then come back to center. So we're easing into it. We're just gonna exhale and drop the knees over and inhale back up. Notice as you drop them over, like where's your stopping place, right? We don't want to overdo. Be real present with the hip and the SI joint. If you feel any discomfort, you're going to stop. Don't go that far. And you could even place a block underneath of your knees. Mine's out of reach, but you could place it under here and prop up the legs. Because now we're going to go ahead and focus on the upper body. We're going to take and keeping the head in the hands on the floor. Slide that left elbow towards your knees and then back to center. We're going to do the movement first on this side. Breathe in and exhale, elbow towards the knee. Try to keep the right elbow down. Mine wants to come up a little bit. You may notice that too. Slide and come back to center. Last time we're going to slide and hold. Feel that expansiveness on the right side. Breathe in. Exhale, soften. Breathe. Come back to center. Bring the knees back up. Uncross the legs. And here, if you want a nice little cement, inhale the arms overhead. And exhale and bring the arms down. Take your feet straight up to the sky. So inhaling, arms come up, feet come down. We'll move back and forth a couple times. Exhale and straighten the legs. Inhale, reach back up. Last time. And arms come down, legs go up. You might want to hold it for a second. Give yourself a little stretch. We'll come back to this in a minute. We have another stretch we're going to do to continue to open up the side body, and it's getting more into a twisting movement. So go ahead and bring those feet down. I think I'll start with straightening the left, and you're just going to slide it towards your left hand. Now you might want that blanket under your head here, but you're going to move a little bit. So you're going to come back of the head on the floor or on your pillow. Right hand to the shoulder, slide it towards the palm of your hand. It's like you're lathering your arm up, like you're sliding some soap down that arm. But keep stepping, pressing down with that foot. Try not to let your knee go over like this. So you're going to keep the knee up. It's okay if your right glute lifts up off the floor as you press down and slide that hand over. And feel that little bit of twist here from the right shoulder down to the hip. Just sliding back and forth. Slide. See if you can even reach past the left palm. Maybe not. So you'll just tell something about yourself. Again, we're connecting body, mind, and breath. You might notice your range of motion. Maybe you can only go so far. And especially, some of these movements are really great if you're recovering from injury too. Always, always, of course, checking with your doctor or your therapist, physical therapist. But as you start to increase range of motion, like recovering from a shoulder injury, you'll start to notice it in exercises like this. So let's go ahead and come back to center. I wasn't counting or anything. We're going to switch sides. So that my back is not to you, I'm actually going to turn around the other way. Straightening my right leg, left knee bent, left foot on the floor. Down, right arm out to the side, left hand starts with the shoulder. And you're just going to slide that hand towards the other. You can let your head come up as you twist. You can let your glute come up. But try your best to keep that knee pointing up. To come up. Keep pressing that foot down. And take your time with the movement. So you can add the breath. I would inhale before the movement and then exhale. It's technically a twist here. And you may find after several repetitions that you're able to go a little farther on the floor. Let's do one more on this side. And then from here, we're going to come into a little deeper twist. And again, if you're recovering from an injury or anything like that, you may have to modify this next one. So this is one where it's going to be helpful to have a blanket under your head. I'm going to fold it higher or lower. So I'm going to cushion my head up. We're going to come onto our left side. And my microphone is in the way here. And before we start with the hand, we're going to take, with the hands together, we're going to take the right hand on the top of our head, the crease of your elbow. And we're just going to do this movement a couple times to get words. And you're just going to start to take that elbow up to the sky, moving your head with your arm. They move together as if they were one unit. So the elbow up to the sky. And come back. And just notice how the head and the arm are moving together. Just doing that a couple times. So again, that's a little preparatory movement. Now bring the hands together. Same thing, but start to lift the arm up and shoulder in the socket. So don't notice if you pull it back. You start doing this kind of motion. That's not what we're doing. We're keeping the arm right at where it is in the socket, the head of the humor bone. Humor is in the socket. I cannot talk tonight. And then bring that hand back down. Inhale, start to bring that arm up. And so you might notice everybody might have a different motion. And then exhale it back down. And I'm gazing at the thumb the whole time. So my head is moving with the arm bone, as if they were one unit. And then inhaling, maybe you start to bring that arm behind you. This is where it might be difficult for some folks because you're going to open up into the front of the shoulder and the chest, the pec muscles, getting into the pectorals. So inhaling, come all the way up. Maybe you can even bring your hand to the floor behind you and the head is turning towards the hand. Now, if you're there where the back of your hand is now on the floor, release the head and just let your head gaze up towards the ceiling. So this twist is probably familiar to a lot of you. Just lay here and enjoy this twist for a breath or two. Now, if that's too much for you, you can just be resting here with the hand back to the original position. If you're okay with it, opening up. Let's start with the left hand on the top of the head. You're looking at the crease of your elbow, and as you move that elbow up, so the hand on the head kind of reminds you to keep your head in alignment with the elbow as you open and close. It's kind of like the clamshells that we do with the legs, except that we're doing it with the upper body. And come back down, and then go ahead and bring the palm of the hands together, gazing at your thumb, keeping the head of the humerus in the arm socket. So we're not, you can draw back a little bit, but then you're keeping the arm in one plane as you move it. So you're not pulling back. You're not doing this kind of thing is what I'm trying to say. Inhaling straight up and bring it down. Each time, see if you can take that arm a little bit farther. So now it's starting to come behind me, so you can get a little bit different perspective. Inhale to open. Oh, maybe you can almost reach the floor. Moving the head with the arm. Inhale and open. Maybe bringing the hand all the way down, shoulder to the floor, and gazing towards the ceiling. So it might feel a little bit weird if you've got a thick stack of blanket. Once you're looking at the ceiling, you probably don't need the blanket as high because the curve of your neck this way might be different than, well, it will be different than the way it is sideways when you're on your side. So it might feel a little bit strange. Breathe here, open that shoulder, chest. Let it go. Might feel some of the stretch here at the top of the hip. One more breath. And then we'll start to bring the knees back to the center. And you can flatten out that pillow unless you need it more of a height than I do. And we're going to do what I call ski jumper. So another somatic movement. Basically, we're going to start with the legs straight and bending the knees. You're going to keep the heels to the floor and kind of slide the heels up, knees to the left. And then slide them back down, and then slide the knees up to the right. Now we're going to add on to that movement, but that's the general leg movement. So taking a breath, as you exhale, slide your knees to the left, but now you're going to turn your head to the right. Both palms are up. We're going to turn the left palm down. Left palm down, right palm up. I'm looking at my right thumb. Straighten those legs again, head back to the center. Now, as you exhale, take the knees to the other side, left palm down, right palm up. So I'm switching my palms with my head turning. The side that you're looking at is palm down. Is that right? No, it's palm up. Palm up. I'm sorry, palm up that you're looking at. Straighten the legs and other side. Draw the knees up to the left, right palm up, gazing at the thumb. Straighten the legs, inhale. Straighten the legs, left knee, or left, right up. Straighten the legs, knees. One more time each side. Move with your breath. You can always slow this video down or stop it, pause, and check and watch what I'm doing. So go ahead and come back to center. Now we're going to come to our left side again. We're going to do another thing for the shoulders, and then we'll get more into the legs. So you may want to make your a little bit taller. So from here, we're going to do this little angel arm exercise. And again, please be mindful if you are recovering from any kind of shoulder injury. So imagine that you're laying on a clock face. And again, it's important here we have the knees together. We're going to take the palm, start the palms together. And we're going to take the top arm, which happens to be my right arm, and take it around the clock. So imagine it over the head is 12 o'clock. And then turn the palm face up as it comes around to, I guess that would be 9 o'clock. And then down to 6 o'clock, you're going to turn the palm face down and slide it back to 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, coming back to 3 o'clock. Now, all you're doing is taking that arm all the way around in a circle. So you can imagine it's like the hands on a clock. Try to keep it really close to the floor. You can even kind of drag it on the floor, except when you get down to your body, and then of course you have to pick it up. Now we're going to add on here so that as the arm comes to 9 o'clock, you're looking at 3 o'clock. You're looking at your other hand. And then as it comes back to 3 o'clock, your head goes to 9 o'clock. So it's like this. The head goes in the opposite direction as the hand. And I think my pillow is a little too high, so I'm going to take it down some. When you're moving the head as well, you may find it difficult you may find you have to adjust the height of your pillow. So you might feel a lot of crackling going on there in the shoulder joint. And then rest here. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. So take your time, bringing the hips back to the center. We're going to go to the other side. I'll go ahead and move this time so my back is not to you. Starting with the hands together. And we're going to go ahead and start going up. So up over the head and back behind you, making that big circle, coming down to 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And then let's add the head so that we're going to look in the opposite direction with our head. Turning the head to look back when the hand comes forward, turning the head forward when the hand goes back behind you. Making those big circles. One more circle. Nice and slow. You don't want to rush it. Be present and attuned to what you are feeling in the body. Let's stop at that nice open arm, twisted stretch again. And then from here, take a nice deep breath and sigh it out. And then let's actually roll on to this right side while we're here. And reach that right arm up. You can keep the left knee bent, but stretch the right leg. Reach it away from you. Stretch those fingers. Stretch the whole right side long. And then exhale and draw the knee in. Inhale and reach long. And exhale it in. Inhale and reach long. And exhale it in. Inhale and reach. And exhale it in. And then from this relaxed position, we're just going to roll the shoulder and circle the hip at the same time. So you're kind of taking your whole leg, in a circle and your shoulder at the same time. And then reverse the direction, go the other way. So moving the shoulder in the socket, hip in the socket. Remember I said oiling up the joints. And then pause. So we're here on our side, knees together. As if you're sitting in a chair, but you're on your side. You want to try to have a 90-degree ankle and make sure you can see your feet. So you don't want your feet behind you. You want a nice little L shape here with the feet flexed, a 90-degree angle. And then also make sure that your head is in line with your spine. So in other words, don't drop your head forward. It's okay to look down and make sure you see your feet, and then bring your head back in line with your spine. We're going to go ahead and do those clamshells. So first, we're going to keep the knees together and just lift the left foot up and bring it down nice and slow. So we're just lifting the left foot up, keep the knees together. Very slowly let it come back down. Lifting that top foot up. Notice the internal rotation of the hip as you lift the foot. Notice any sensation that you feel here. Nice and slow. The key is slow with somatic movement. Now, keeping those feet together, we're going to lift the top knee, the left knee. Find your range of motion. Where's your stopping point? And then slowly, slowly, slowly lowering it down. That's the hardest part. Lifting the knee, left knee up. Keep the feet together now. And come back down. This is the little clamshell movement, lifting the knee up. External rotation of the hip. Slowly let it come back down. It's almost painful. We always want to rush things in our society. It's very hard to slow down. Last one. So now we're going to lift the whole top leg up. Find your range of motion, your stopping point. Slowly, slowly, slowly bring it back down. Let it hover and then touch. Relax. And then gently bring that leg all the way back up. Bring it back down. Slowly, slowly. Lift that leg up. And slowly, 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 slowly. Make that muscle work as you bring it back down. Let's do one more. So I kind of lost count. I'm famous for that. If I'm ever famous for anything, it's going to be losing count. Bring those knees back together and rest. Breathe. So you guys rest for another breath or two. I'm just going to turn myself around, but you don't have to shift your position. You can stay where you are. Just turn to the other side. So you're laying on your left side now. And take a minute to adjust. Knees together, feet together. Make sure you can see your toes. And it's like you're sitting in that chair. And from here, we'll go ahead and start to lift the top foot. So now the right foot's going to lift up. And slowly come back down. Lift that top leg up. And slowly come back down. Lifting the top leg. Slowly, 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 slowly. Last one. Take your time coming down nice and slow. And then keeping the feet together, we're going to lift the right knee up. Like a clamshell. Slowly bring it down. Lift that knee up. You can be moving with the breath here. See what makes sense for you. Maybe exhale as you bring it down. Inhaling. That knee up. Notice if one side, if the range of motion feels like it's greater, like you have more range of motion on one side. And I forgot to do something on this side, but that's okay. We're going to do it. Don't worry. Lift that knee up. Last one, slowly lower down. Rest, and then we're going to take the whole top leg. So lifting that leg, breathe. Find your stopping place. Exhale, start to come down. And let it rest completely before you start the next one. So inhale, take it up. Keep the knee bent. And bring it back down. 3 more. Inhale, lift it back up, opening that hip. Ooh, I had a little crackling there. As we get older, we start to have a little more noises as we open up the joints. There's another little crackling. Coming back down. Last time, inhale, lift it up. And gently come back down, slowly, slowly, slowly. Now, let's go ahead and inhale and straighten that whole side. So we didn't do that on this side. Let's reach the right arm over your head and the right foot away from you. We'll do it now. I love this stretch. Feels so good. Big breath in and then exhale and draw the knee in. You can draw the knee and the elbow in and inhale and reach the arm, reach the leg. Exhale and draw them in. Inhale and reach long. I'll tell you, my hips always feel so good after I do this practice, this whole practice. And I get up and walk around. They might feel a little stiff while you're doing it. Let's pause and hold this one. Oh, that feels so good. Breathe. Don't pause your breath. Keep breathing. And then go ahead and come back. We're going to come back onto our back. If you have a big pillow here, you might want to just take it a little bit lower. You might not even need it for this. Keep it just in case. And then we're just going to stretch the knees, not stretch the knees, but move the knees and stretch the hamstrings a little bit. So start to draw, actually just draw the right knee in and straighten the left leg first. Half Apanasana. And then we'll start to straighten that leg and bend. So we're just going to straighten and bend a couple of times. Getting some juice going in that knee joint. Circulation. And then straighten that leg as well as you can, and we'll circle the ankle. So we haven't done the ankle yet. Let's circle that foot. Again, a little bit of crackling happening here. Go ahead and circle in the opposite direction. And then press the thigh into your hands if you can. If you can't quite reach your leg, it's further away, and you have a nice straight leg, just rest your hands on your thigh. But otherwise, if you can interlace the hands behind the thigh, press the leg into your hands. Flex that foot. Big breath in. As you exhale, see if you can draw the leg a little closer. Maybe you found a little space there. And breathe. Now, and I should have said this before, if this is too deep of a stretch, you can always keep the left knee bent to left foot on the floor and stretch this way. That's another option. Now, if you're straight leg, go ahead and bend the knee because we want this leg to stabilize. We're going to go ahead and do our hip circles. So we're going to take that foot and draw a circle in the ceiling. This is actually opening up your hip, but the whole leg is moving in the hip socket. So draw those circles, big or small as you like. Maybe start small and get a little bit bigger. Notice what you're feeling in your hip joint. And then we'll change the direction of the circle and circle the other way. And then go ahead and hug that knee in one more time. You can straighten the left leg. We're going to do the other side. So inhale the arms overhead, reach those legs, and exhale and hug your left knee in. And then, so here's where you have the option. If you want, you could bend your right knee, right foot on the floor, and start to straighten the left leg up. And we'll just go ahead and bend the knee and straighten a couple of times. So getting the juices flowing into that left knee, stimulating the circulation. And then straightening that leg and circling. And if you're okay with it, you can re-straighten the right leg. You'll notice it's a little deeper stretch. You can even keep the right foot flexed while you're circling your left ankle. And then switching the direction, circle in the other opposite direction. And flex and hold. Go ahead and press the thigh into the hands if you can, interlacing those hands behind the thigh. So you're resisting, you're adding some resistance here. And if you're doing this in the morning, we're getting a little more active now. So we're like slowly opening and activating the body to move a little more. As you exhale, let's take a deep breath first before we exhale, right? It's good to take an inhale before you exhale. And then exhale and draw that leg a little bit closer. And those of my friends that are hypermobile, be careful not to lock those knees. You can keep a little bend there if you need to. And then we're going to go into our hip circle. So bending that right knee again, keep the foot on the floor. It'll give you a little stability. If you can do this with the right leg straight, that's fine. I prefer to keep my knee bent. It gives me stability and kind of anchors. It feels a little more symmetrical for my hips and my SI joint. So making those circles on the ceiling. And this is core work. You're going to feel this in your belly too. Your lower belly, most likely. And then switch the direction of your circle, go the other way. Your core, you don't feel like you're working that hard. It feels good. And Apanasana. And bring the feet back down. So one more hip stretch here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do a little more active and passive stretching. So let's straighten the left leg. Drawing the right knee in, you're going to start to bring that foot towards. You can actually cradle your shin in your hands here. So you're going to try to draw the foot in and the knee out. So opening the hip, kind of like a pigeon pose, which is eventually where we're going to end up. But you want to resist. So you could have maybe one hand just a little lower than the knee, because we don't want to press into the knee joint. And act like you're trying to press that out, but your leg is going to resist that. It's not going to allow you to. So I'm actively pressing my leg into my hand here. And see what you feel in your hip. You should feel this in the hip right away. Don't overdo. If there's any pain, don't do it. Just let go. Just rest. And you could even just kind of rock the hip side to side. Like we're resisting, then go ahead, exhale, and release, relax. Let it go. Take that knee as far away from you as you comfortably can. And then we're going to start to bend this left knee and bring that foot to the floor and bring the heel into position for pigeon pose. So keep that right hip down. Flex your right to interlace the hands either behind the thigh, or some of you might even be able to reach the shin. Keep both feet flexed, and especially that right pinky toe flexed towards your right knee. If you feel like you want to rock a little. And bring that foot back down, uncross the leg. We're going to do the other side, so straighten the right leg. Start to draw the left knee in. We're going to bring that foot over, so there's a little bit of this hip opening. Be really gentle here. Don't just grab the foot. Taking the hands to kind of cradle the leg, and you're going to resist. So I'm going to take my left hand inside the thigh, so I want to press that knee away, but the leg is resisting. It's pressing back. So I feel that active. I'm activating the muscles here. I'm actively. And then soften and release and relax. No more resistance. So there's an active resistance. That's the word I was trying to say. And then there's a relaxation. We let the knee come away as far as it feels comfortable for you. So if that's not comfortable, just draw your knee back in. And then we'll start to set up for the pigeon pose. Right? It's just above your left heel, above the right knee. Can't talk this evening. Start to draw in that right leg, either interlacing behind the thigh or the shin. That's what happens when you do a live class. You just get what you get. So flexing that foot, pinky toe toward the knee. Keep both feet flexed. Notice the sensation in your left hip. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Go ahead. Uncross. Knees come out to the sides. Now soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana. And reach those arms overhead. Big breath in and pause. Now if you wanted to, you could always put blocks under your knees. We're just going to take a couple breaths here and notice how that feels. Time left. So go ahead and bring the knees together onto one side. Doesn't matter which one. We're just going to roll to the side.
go ahead and come up to table. Look at that. I lost my microphone. Table pose just for a moment. And so knees are going to be hip width apart. Hands are shoulder width apart. Tuck those toes under. You get a little stretch there in the backs of your feet. And inhale and look forward into a cow pose. And as you exhale, draw the belly in. Inhale, look forward, arch your spine a little bit, and exhale and round. So we did a little bit of this one, osteopenia. Don't take a big rounding here, okay? Just maybe look forward and exhale and draw your belly in, or come back to neutral, or just do it seated. And then from here, tucking those toes under. Here we're going to take our downward facing dog, because I promised we were going to do one. Walk your hands forward a little bit, spread the fingers wide, press down to the base of the index finger and the thumb, so to lift those knees off the mat. If you do, starting to straighten those legs, one and then the other. Let yourself move through the feet. Get a nice stretch. The bones of the feet. Oh. We walk the hands in a little bit. Lift the hips up. Press the heels back. Hold that down dog. If you want to do this at the wall, you can come to your wall, place your hands on the wall in line with your shoulders. Start to walk the feet away. And I don't want to give you a view of my backside, but you get the idea. So you can take that stretch at the wall instead. Oh, it feels so good, the backs of the legs. Drop your head, maybe shake your head no. Looking towards your thighs or up to your belly button, tucking that chin slightly. And bring those knees back down. So choice here, if you want a little more stretch on the lower back, or the hips towards the heels, coming to your child's pose. If you want a little more into the lower back, keep the knees together. Walk the arms forward, bringing your head down to the mat or to a block. Rest. If you like, you can bend you, maybe even resting on your feet. Resting your forehead. A couple deep breaths and just rest. It's a nice way to come down. Since we are doing this in the evening and not in the morning, let's go ahead and if you need a little stretch here, you could do a cobra or a sphinx pose or a lazy upward dog. And then we'll slowly come all the way down, transitioning onto your back. If you like it, I could pillow your head, or you can, if you're not lying flat, just keep the knees bent, knees together, feet apart, and come to that final rest. So we're actually ending the way we started. Take a moment to get comfortable. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you can exhale and sigh it out through your mouth. Taking a few breaths. So each breath, go. Take a moment to scan the body from the feet, from the heels, ankles, to the knees and the hips, lower back, middle back, upper back and shoulders, elbows, wrists and fingers, all the joints. Bring awareness to your neck, the back of your head, and your jaws. See if you can sigh it out. Let that bottom jaw hang. Soften the